Hey Cardfighters, Fishy Fan here, and in this video I'll be going over my tips and tricks for my recent deck profile of Girlish Idol Lyriquor. First, I'll be going over gifts. So since one of the weaknesses of this deck is power, I normally go for Force 1. When I am getting my Force 1 gifts, I normally put my gifts off to the side first. Unless I'm like going first and I don't have a booster for my Vanguard, because the Vanguard obviously needs to be the most menacing. If I'm going first, I'll put it on the Vanguard if I don't have any rears behind it. Otherwise, I'll put it on a column that doesn't have the Setna and Aqua combo that I normally like to have. I normally just like to have a column just set for those two cards in specific. Next, I'll go over the weaknesses and strengths. So just like I previously stated, power is just a big problem in this deck. Because this deck revolves around so many pieces, you don't really have a lot of wiggle room as far as like playing cards. You need your grade 2 to be consistent as possible. You need your grade 3s, and you need your order, and that takes up a large chunk of the deck. So power is definitely a weakness. That's the reason why you always want to keep the Lyriquors. If you do get them, never pitch them, because your game plan revolves around her, giving you your markers and recycling. The next thing is piece reliant. This deck is very piece reliant. Like I said, I feel like it's very technical, because you have to know when to play your cards, when to keep your cards. But you have to have you have to have your grade 2, and you have to have your main grade 3 ride targets. Those two are just non-negotiable. Non-negotiable, because if you don't have them, you just basically lose. You have to have your orders, because you can't proc your Vanguard's full effect without the orders. So it's very piece reliant. The soul cost is very heavy, so that's even that puts you in even that puts you in an even more tighter spot when it comes to deck building, because you have to have soul to use the orders effect. So make sure you're paying attention to your soul. It's very imperative that you are regulating your soul, and not just throwing all your soul pieces, when you get them. You might want to hold them until you actually need the pieces. So the pieces being the grade 1 that soul charges, and least a lot that soul charges. Um, the next is sniping. If you're going against any deck that like board wipes or snipes, just not a great matchup. Um, in that case, you shouldn't even get mad. Just play the game for what it is. But with your order, you're bringing back like these cards with a really big shield, and if your opponent sniped them, you just really don't have you really run out of resources and have to use your hand in that case. Um, Also, you may run into a problem with your opponent damage denying you. I do have an alternative card that you can use for that. Or make sure you're keeping your grade 3 heals if you do find them. If you know your opponent might damage deny you. So damage denying is definitely one of the weaknesses, because I'm not playing any main deck cards that counter charge, even though I do have some. Just because it's so peaceful now, you don't really have much wiggle room in your deck build. I'm gonna go over the strength, board wiping, and less reliant on your hand as far as guarding. Board wiping is just good in any deck. I don't know any board wiping deck that's just not good. Um, Even though in this case, it's very peace reliant, gimmicky, I would say. Um, and strength, it's very technical. It makes you think. So that's really good at, when you go into other decks. When to use your pieces, when to keep your pieces, when to guard from your hand, when to intercept. So it's good for problem solving. Next, I wanted to go over alternative cards here. Mm. So I do have extra grade ones here. Now these are consistency cards here that I have. If you wanted to take out four of the aqua and play more grade ones, this will probably or these will probably be my recommendations here. We have Distinguished Wing Radka, Special Message Aurora, and Equitable Career Spinia. Like I said, these are consistency cards. I prefer this over this one just because this has on here. If you do go second, you draw a card. With this, you retire this. Look at the top of cards of your deck. Put one of them among them in your hand and put the rest in the drop zone. You can only use a card with this name once per turn. When this card here is placed, you draw a card and discard a card from your hand. You can only use a card with this effect once per turn. And then this one you have is just a counter charger for your deck. When this is placed, you may return a card with the same name as a grade 3 on your V or R from the drop zone to your deck, and then shuffle your deck and counter charge. If you find that in the majority of your games that you're having problems with, your opponent damage denying you, you can always play two of these. Take out two aqua and just play two of these, and then in two of either one of these. Now I will play four of either one of these, but because it is a named once per turn, I just find having a split is a lot better, consistency wise. And this is just an extra copy to make your grade 2 ride more consistent. I find having 7 is enough, but if you did want to run this fourth one here, it does give you a draw and a chance to re-ride for your primary ride target as far as grade 2 goes. You can take one aqua out and then play an extra one of these. Next, I wanted to go over optimal hands here. So I have these laid out from most important to least important here. I have this grade one just because you don't really run that many grade ones, so you always want to keep any grade one that you get. This is your primary target for grade one. Your primary target for grade two. If you do not have her, the next best thing is multiple, because she gives you a chance to rewrite on top of her or rewrite for her. Next is your primary vanguard. She is literally the only ride target for grade 3. If you're not riding her, you're probably going to lose. And then you just have another target for soul charging. You have an extra grade 3. If you don't have another target, if you don't have another her, you can always, if you get her, you always keep her. She helps you recycle your orders. She does too. She's for free, but she costs a counter blast and a discard. But since this deck revolves around the orders, you want to keep as many cards to recycle them and find them as possible. Next, we have the grade 3. This is good for if your opponent damage denies you or they try to rush you. And then we have Aqua. Aqua works very well with Lisa. I think we all know that by now. So this will probably be like the most optimal hands you can get. These four are always keepers. Any extra grade 2 is helpful, even over this grade 3 Heal Guard. If you find any multiples of grade 3s, you always want to keep those because you need to be able to recycle your orders. But regardless, this is like probably like the cards you always want to keep if you do find them. And these are just backups. Next, I'll be going over. Next, I'll be doing a quick demo here. This will be a go in second demo. This deck does best going second, just because it's for the board wipe you need your opponent to have some stuff out. I'm one of the only really true going second decks. Yeah. So like I said, this is no means a competitive deck, but it is fun to play. It really works your brain as far as like technicality, resource management, and that's really good to have in this kind of card game. So here we have it started here. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So keeping this and this, you want to have. We know from playing the game that you always want to have a 1, 2, and 3 when you're doing your mulligan. So I have a 2 and a 3. I want to get a 1. As much as I would like to keep this card, I cannot because I need the grade 1. Grade 1 is super important. So I'll put 3 back and draw 3. Perfect. So we found a grade 1 and we found an optimal grade 2. So we're guaranteed at least 2 soul in a body, and we're guaranteed a way to fetch our orders. Only thing that would make this better is probably Lisa lot, just for the interaction with Aqua. So we have this here. We will be going second. So we have our 5 cards here. So we will draw for turn. We have another Aqua. Good for power, so that's not so bad here. So what we'll do now, we'll ride onto our grade 1. We will draw a card. And then from this effect, we'll soul charge 1. And grab a quick shield. So going second, when you use your, when you go on grade 2 and use your Maxine skill, it's always best to put, it's always best to discard an extra copy of your order, or just discard this. So we have this in the hand here. And then we'll pass turn. A good thing about this deck, it's not really counterblast relying anyway. So you could always wait later on to take damage. So going first, you can guard with a heal if you want to guard. I find it more effective to guard early, obviously, because that's when they have the most most of all their critical most of the triggers are still in the deck, so you guard early. And then you can also get this back with your order skill when you do find it. So then you attack for your turn. And I got a heal trigger. Draw trigger. Draw for turn. Wow, so many aquas. So like I said, guard it early is really not that much of a problem. You can just guard with your heal. Next turn, you'll draw. You stand and you draw. Next, you have your Maxine here. Your Ultimo Grade 2. If you did not have Maxine, that will be the time to ride multiple. She'll she'll draw you a card, and it'll give you 7 chances to find this from the top of the deck here. But since I already have her, I don't want to, chance, a miss of this and not being able to get the effect. So then you'll discard for effect, quick shield to find 2 with the order. So because you have your grade 3, you have a way to get the orders back. You want to play the order during your grade 2 turn. So you'll play the Lyriquor Veil. You will, well first, and I always miss this, but your grade 1 was on standby. So then you'll call it and then soul charge 1. So make sure you're paying attention to that. Then you'll use your lyrical skill. So you will soul blast 2. And discard another Lyriquor Veil here. To take 2 grade 2 or less units and call them. And give all your units are, you may want to, call your Maxines and your, you may want to do all your calling before you activate your order, because it gives all your unit intercept and it can intercept for the back row. So a good grade 2 push here. You have your 15k column here, another 15, and then 18k here. So a good thing about this, it's not, like I said earlier, it's not very hand reliant because you have all this stuff to use for guarding. If say you don't have any units in your hand that'll give you a soul charge, you can just guard with this and maybe this or this and this. Maybe save those in the back if you want. You can guard with these, and then when you go on your grade 3 turn to get your order back, you can always just call them back. Like I said, you always want to be paying attention to your soul. So if you ever have like this or at least a lot, you can guard with them and then get them back the next turn to get more soul for your card effects. So then your opponent's turn, say they give you 2 damage, 1, 2. Then you will stand and draw, or say guard it with this here. you will play your Girlish idol here, and then you will get your gift here. And you want to put it on a column that you don't have least allowed or Raka in. Then I'd say do aqua skill. You can grab this to your hand or grab any one of those to your hand, and you draw a card. And then you can ditch one, which will be this one probably. You already have 2 souls, so you don't really have to use this slot if you don't want to. When you roll, you got your two Lyriquor Veils to your hand. Don't forget that. You're going second this turn, so your opponent probably have a full board or just enough board for you to use the effect with. So you can use Lyriquor Veil, putting these 2 back, and calling 2 units. So I'll call this one, and I'll call, you know, multiple here. Using her effect, she gives you a soul. Now, while I do have this slot in my hand, I don't really need to use her. And now all of your units get intercept and can guard from the back row. You always want to attack with the Vanguard first. Then you counterblast and use the Vanguard skill. They have to intercept as much as possible. So 1s, 2s, and 3s, whatever they have on the board, they have to intercept with it. And not only that, your Vanguard gets plus 10. So right now your Vanguard's at 18, it'll be 28. Normally when you use the skill, the stuff that they have on the field is not enough to guard, so they have to use the cards from hand as well. So then you do your draft check. Check 1, check 2, nothing. But Aqua does get plus 5k. So they're making this 20k lane, and then making this 28k. So like I said, not really big numbers. Your opponent can definitely guard these, but it might have been a good idea to play your Setna. If you want to, get rid of one of these and play Setna for a higher power lane, you can do that as well. But I felt like I wanted to be able to use these to guard first, and then because I didn't really feel right, calling over it when I can just use this to guard next turn. And then once I use it, then I can play Setna. But that is just a demo here. And this was the tips and tricks for the Girlish Idol Lyriquor. Thanks for watching.